Hello and welcome to this edition of TMA's Farm Margin Talk. This is Devin Sherling, Grain Marketing Manager for TMA. So on this week's Farm Margin Talk, we're going to give a quick update on farm profitability. We're going to look at how the recent moisture affects our risk management plans. And then lastly, we're going to look at corn profitability from an irrigated perspective, and also how we manage our overall risk of contracts that are higher than where the current market is at today. So when we look at our farm margin index for March the 15th, 2013, you'll notice that the big movers on the week were corn and wheat, with corn being up $38 an acre on irrigated and $14 an acre on dryland, with beans being the loser on the week, being down $10 on irrigated and $9 on dryland. But the important thing to look at here is the overall profitability in both the 14 and 13 crop years. So as we look at our farm margin index, here's a micro view based off of the new crop cash prices at Groveland, Kansas. So as you can see on this chart that focuses on overall soil moisture and the change, we've been blessed throughout the majority of our territory with very beneficial rain and snow the last 4 weeks. But what I want to focus on is what that condition means as we're getting ready to enter into this growing season. And we're making these final crop insurance decisions here at sales closing. Make sure that you're doing what's best for your operation to maximize that revenue potential, because we're not out of the woods yet. We're still going to need beneficial moisture this spring and below average temperatures in May to have a bumper crop, but that's still available according to several local agronomists that I've visited with. So just make sure as you're rounding the corner here and getting ready to go into the end of March, 1st of April, let's make sure we have a good risk management plan to capture what's best for each one of our operations. And to kind of take that next step over and focus on irrigated corn profitability, I've been hearing a lot about, Devin, what should I do with my overall corn position? It's still profitable, especially historically, it's still high profits, but it's not what it once was. What's going on? Well, and so what I like to do is take a peek at this using and comparing different crop years. So with the USDA Planting Intentions Report, we normally see that as kind of the stepping stone for what we're going to see going forward. So I've highlighted here this area of volatility, which is right around the USDA report. So as you can see going forward, last year we talked about more acres, the corn went in at record time, so we'd have a chance for more optimal yields, and we continue to tread lower into July, and then you know what happens. It got hot and dry, prices went sky high, and so did profitability. Where in other years where you have growing season issues, for example, you're worried about not being too wet to get the crop in, the price will continue to rally until we get into that July time frame, and we have good pollination, we now have a better idea of what our crop is going to look like, and then prices will go ahead and move based off the overall supply of that crop. So just another way of looking at that. I'm not a prophet, but make sure you understand how you can manage that on your farm. And historically, we talk about, well, how can you lock in additional bushels to really manage that profitability? But today we're going to take a little bit of a different focus, and we're going to look at how do we maximize or really protect some of those early corn sales that we made that were significantly higher than where we're at today. So several of our grain marketers have been visiting with their farmers about going ahead and turning their either cash or hedge to arrive sales, which is this example, that were made back at that 645 range, into minimum price contracts. And they're doing that by just having TMA purchase a call on their behalf at that $6.50 level for about a 22-cent investment. So where that protects them at is if they get into a super hot July and they don't have the bushel to fill their contract, that call will help avoid a major loss from a contract cancellation perspective, and it will also help them gain if we get into any sort of a price rally between now and, in this case, the end of November or at that harvest time frame. So just another way you can look to manage your overall position. Well, I got these pictures from a gentleman today that I thought they were priceless, that showed the Brazilian soybean lines at their export facilities. And that really goes right into what's causing the market to move. When you, from a global supply perspective, we're having the potential for a record soybean crop in Brazil, and then watching how where other countries are coming in at with wheat and corn will help get a better idea for where our crops are going to need to move to. Weather's going to be huge, whether that's too wet throughout the Corn Belt to plant or needing the beneficial rains here in Kansas in the rest of the hard red winter wheat belt to grow and put the finishing touches on this year's crop, and then to really look at where these USDA numbers for potential acres are going to end up and how that impacts the market. So have a great weekend. Thanks for listening. And for more information on how to customize this report to fit your needs, contact one of our grain marketing or crop insurance specialists.